Hello, everyone. Welcome again. It's me, your host today, Sylvia Kamanda, the Chief Financial Officer of Africa Healing Foundation. And you are joining us again for 30 Men, 30-Day Challenge, brought to you by Africa Healing Foundation. And today I have got the honor of hosting my boss, CEO of AHF, and I will hand over to him so he can introduce himself and he can tell us a bit about himself so we can get to know who Gary is. Welcome, Gary.
Hello. This is so cool. When I heard Eve talking about this, I thought this woman is crazy. 30 days, 30 different men, but I did not realize that there's this many men who are actually happy to talk. And they say men don't talk, eh? So my name is Gary Mapanda. I'm the CEO and founder of Africa Healing Foundation. Wow. It's to help people, right? I guess this is what we do. It's all I've done all my life. This is what I love to do. So I figured, why not do it on a really large scale?
Nice, Gary. Welcome. Thank you so much. Thank you for even bringing this initiative. I mean, so far, like you said, 30 men is, it's a big number, but we're doing it. And today, I mean, we have spoken so much as board members, as a team. We've spoken about other people's mental health. We've talked about helping other people, but today is more personal, and I am basically interviewing you to find out about your mental health and how you look after your mental health, because I can imagine, you also have things that you would like to share with us today. So, let our viewers know, how do you take care of your mental health?
Wow. I think I always say it as a joke, but I think that's something I actually use to help condition my mind. We are all crazy. So I always say this, like, we are all crazy. If a doctor comes here, 9 out of 10 people that are in the room are probably going to be on medication. The other 1 out of 10 that are left are going to be in the straight jacket. You remember the jackets where they put you like this and they put you in a white room?
Yeah.
Yep. So I think that's, I told myself that, yeah, we are all insane in one way or the other. So I normalized it, which is very odd, but I think it actually works for me.
Okay, that's an interesting way of putting it. I've never really thought about it that way, but you do have a point. So let's get a bit more personal in terms of, we can talk about physically, or emotionally. When have you ever been challenged, that you have really gone through like a breakdown, or something that has really gotten you to the stage of, I need help?
Wow. I think on top of my head, just thinking about it once, I think I went through what I would probably say was my make or break part of my life. Apart from all the other things you go through, 2011, I think 2011 is very significant in my life, because I was working in McDonald's at the time and trying to start this construction business. It's start, stop. But in McDonald's, because dealing with the home office here in the UK, I was through in limbo. So I had a very good boss at work who used to protect me, still be able to let me go to work. But it got to a point where he got moved. And when he got moved in January 2011, the new manager who now came in was not so lenient. And having a child, been looking after myself, the construction dried up. I had to let go. They had to let go of me in McDonald's. They had to tell me, well, until the home office can confirm that you can definitely work, you can do that. The mother of my child at the time told me that without a court order, you can't see my child, you can't see the child. So I went through from being able to work to going to sleep on my auntie's sofa, where you're living in someone's house, you're living in the living room, you wake up when they wake up, and you sleep when they sleep. So there were two extremes. My auntie used to wake up at 6 in the morning, and her daughter, her younger daughter, my sister, wouldn't sleep until like 11 p.m. at night. So, and you're there during the day. What do you do? Do you eat? You've got nothing to wake up to. I had, from being really busy to zero. I couldn't even see the one good thing that I had in my life, which is my daughter. I had to learn how, I had to now try to figure out how I can do it, do the contact, go to court to go and get the permission to be able to see my daughter. And that took like 11 months. It's the one time that I looked at my mom, and my mom looked at, I could see the way mom was looking at me, where she could see me in so much pain, but I was helpless. She was helpless to help me. All she could see me doing was go to church every Sunday. I kneel down and I'm crying in church and praying to see how I can, even when I think about it now, I feel very like, wow, that was I think my extreme.
Wow. Okay, that's a lot. I must say, especially being a man, everyone just assumes that the man should always be the provider of the family. So you not having a job, to you living with family, to you not being able to see your daughter, must have been a lot to handle all at once. And so how did you find yourself going through and coming out of the dark side?
Wow, I think the theory of we are all crazy really helped me at that time. Because then I looked and I thought, okay, this is happening. What can I do about it? I can't do anything about it. What can I do in this moment? Nothing. I mean, you eat what you're being told to eat. I mean, we know the joke of we drink what the sponsor drinks. Literally was the case. And at the time,
you go by
go by what the sponsor is saying. So if the sponsor is saying in the house today we are only eating bread with butter, it's bread with butter. You can't question it. Just be grateful that you are able to sleep, eat, and I mean, how do I come out of it? 10 months in, prayer really helped. I've never prayed like I did at the time. I never realized I could get to that. I now get when they say, when you really get to this, there's a part in your life you get to, you have a decision to make whether you're gonna sink or swim. So I use that moment in turn I used to take a lot of walks. I used to go a lot in the park, and you find me on the swing by myself, and you look in the sky and you look and you think, wow, the sky is the limit. I have no clue what that sky is, because right now I can touch my sky. The limit is literally just above my head. There is nowhere else.
It's there.
Yeah, it's there. But then I started figuring out a lot of things about myself. I started realizing the kind of person I am. I had no choice. I was spending a lot of time within myself. So you start having, the thing where you're walking down the road. I used to put headphones in, and then I had no phone. I didn't have a phone at the time. So I used to just have headphones in and act like I'm listening to music, but I'm actually talking to myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy time.
And how long was you in this period for?
I think the period didn't start then. I think that was the deep end. The period would have started 5 years before, and you're sort of sinking and sinking and sinking slowly. That was me getting to the bottom of the ocean and my feet are on the ground, looking and thinking, yeah, you are deep now. You need to get out. And it took what? 3 years?
5 years.
4 years to get out of it.
4 years to get out of?
Of the deep end. I was so accustomed to sleeping on the sofa. It took me, I did not work from 2011, end of 2010 to 2015. I was so used to sleeping on the sofa that when I actually moved out finally and lived by myself, I felt very weird sleeping on a bed. My daughter knew. I remember once she said, my daddy is so poor. I love him. He sleeps on sofas. That's all she knew, that her father sleeps on a sofa. Like what do you do? Can't do anything.
Wow. That's that for some people, I feel like they would feel like that's such a long time to be in the deep end. And I don't know, what would you give advice for someone that's going through? Because I mean, you've got not having a job. I mean, if we talk about our economy today, a lot of people are struggling with getting a job, or also keeping a job that is, some people you find that they're just working for the sake of working, but they're not really happy. They're not getting paid what they should be. So what can you advise on someone that's going through, losing their job, having to go backwards?
Wow. To go back, I just say to them, brace yourself, because it's definitely some turbulence in that aeroplane, that's for sure. For me, personally, I think it depends with your personality. Are you a positive or a negative person? So I'm a very positive person. So I saw that as an opportunity to learn. I was being taught something. I had to learn about myself. There were some hard lessons I had to learn in that moment that are helping me today. But I've also seen some people who are very negative in general. They naturally come from a position of negativity. They spend the time blaming the world. Stop blaming the world. That's all I could say. What can you do to help yourself? Because no one is going to help you. I learned that when I was 11 years old. No one will help you if you don't help yourself. So, I mean, that's all I did. But I've come to understand that we are not all the same now. But one thing's for sure, I've learned something. I'm a very spiritual man. And I've learned that there is no experience that you go through that God would never know that you can handle. And he's going to send someone in your life in that moment when you're really down, who might have a 1-minute conversation with you that if you don't pay attention to that conversation, there's a lot of lessons that God has just sent that person and speaking through that person to you to pick you up. Because what you are destined to be is great, but you just have to go through this experience to toughen you for what's to come. Those are things that I started realizing. Going to church can never do you wrong. Being in one with yourself and accepting the mud you're in. Stop fronting. I stopped fronted. I stopped dating. I went nearly 2 years where I could not even talk to. What do I bring to the table? I'm a man. I can't take you on dates. I can't. What makes me a man, I thought, was financial, right? Even though there was a lot, but our confidence as men comes from money. So I didn't date. I used to get stopped in the street by girls trying to talk to me and take my number. They would take my number and I'll just take it. They would try to communicate and I wouldn't respond because I felt, wow, what am I going to give you? So I had to address that and say, okay, so if I want this, I need to do that, but I don't have that. So what can I do? So just prayed. It's a crazy time to be in, you know that.
Wow.
It's an insane moment where you look and you think, you wake up in the morning and you open your eyes and you look to the ceiling. Well, it depends which way you wake up, to the wall and like your day is empty. You have no plans. You have no aspirations to work towards. You have nothing to look forward to apart from breathing. Wondering what the sponsor is going to feed you and going to the toilet and just being submissive to whatever. You become the cleaner in the house. You become the maid. You become the chef. You become everything that your pride is telling you, no, you are not. That's all I had to look forward to. So I used to wake up 7 in the morning and spend the whole day walking around, doing aimless things, and before you know it, the day is done. You come home, sleep again. The sponsor is TV's on until 11 p.m. You watch what sponsor watches. That's how I started watching Grey's Anatomy. I never cared about it, but because every time I came home, they were watching Grey's Anatomy to the point where I knew about Derek. I now knew about Meredith, to the point where I actually now watch the show. It was what they were watching. It's crazy.
Wow. Wow, that's interesting, especially knowing you more on a personal level. I mean, you are, like you said, you're a very positive person. And like you said, not everyone is like you. So I'm just trying to imagine someone that's not a positive person, how this can impact them, and how you would ask them to, what am I trying to say? How you would positively encourage them, knowing that they're not as positive as you.
Be around what you aspire to be. I think that's the biggest one.
Okay.
And then
I like that.
Let the fear be second to.
Yeah.
It's crazy. You say this. When people would never imagine I was a quiet person. I never used to talk. I never spoke.
You don't look it.
Now I can't shut up. I never spoke. And I did something when I was 20. I used to play football with these guys, right? I don't even think they know this. And you know, as men, we're in a crowd, we're in a circle, you're talking. I never thought I could say anything that is worth a conversation. Never in a million years. So that whole time, the only time you heard me is when I'm laughing. Only laughing at their jokes. Nothing. Even if I had something to say, I keep it within me. So what I did now is I constantly ask myself questions. So you keeping quiet, what are you doing? You standing there not talking, what are you doing? What's the worst that they're going to do?
Yeah.
They're going to think you're stupid, what you're saying, or it's useless. At least now you know, right? So maybe I'm in the wrong group. I need to now find a group where I belong. So this is what I did. One day I was brave enough to say something that I know the conversations guys have. So I went and I did research. And I found out, okay, they're going to talk about football stats. I need to know one player, football stats. So the conversation came about, and I was like, yes, finally, I can talk. I said my comment, and they were like, yes, you're right, Gary. My confidence shot up. Then I realized, I have a voice.
Wow.
I had to do, it's insane, just so that I can talk in a circle of men. It's crazy, the effort I went through so that I'm able to just say something. But it made me realize one thing. Because of the questions I ask myself, and I'm very critical of myself, I now stopped and looked at the process and realized, oh, so I can do that? Why am I not doing that more? So I started having research. I no longer stopped listening to conversations for the sake of it. I used to listen because I wanted to learn something. Then in my own time, I Google. You go on your computer, you type, you find, okay. Oh, what Sylvia was saying made sense. I project it in my head. One day, that fact that you taught me is going to be relevant in another group. So when I go to that group, yes, I have a voice, to the point where I know too many things now in my head.
No, you're an open, free person.
I can't shut up now.
Oh.
But I would say never, sorry.
That's amazing.
Knowledge is power. If you are just who you are, read. Don't be scared to read. Don't be scared to equip yourself, even though you can't bring it out verbally. Prepare yourself so that there's going to be a moment where God will send somebody who's going to nudge you. Be ready.
Yeah. Nice. I love that. I think that's a good way of giving positive feedback. And I had one question before we move on. Did you ever, in that point, ever feel like you wanted to commit suicide? Did you have any suicide thoughts? Has that ever run through your mind?
It did once. When, not in 2011, I have so much to lose, my daughter. My father was not in my life, so I vowed. I went to see him once I always wanted a bike. Okay, I'm going to reverse. I always wanted a bike. Mom told me, write a letter to your dad to ask for a bike. He never responded. When I was about 14, Mom called him and said, your son needs to talk to you. So, okay, cool. Sorry, about 12. When I was about 13, he said, okay, come, let's go. So I went to Ethiopia because that's where he was staying at the time with his wife and 3 girls. He's got 3 daughters. And I went there for that month and I stayed there for a month, which was very torrid. I used to eat with the maids outside because my stepmother, so what it's called, wouldn't feed me. I spent all day at tennis with no food. So she'd drop me off. The driver would drop him off at work, come back, drop me off at tennis at say 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, and won't pick me up until 4 o'clock. No food, no nothing. I'm not given breakfast in the morning. I'm just dumped there. So I did that for about 11 days, 12 days, nearly 2 weeks, where I used to wake up in the morning. I'm told, time to go to tennis, because he was a fan of tennis. So he wanted me to be a tennis player and just leave me there all day. Then they would pick me up just before they pick him up. And when I get home, that's the one meal I'd eat because he was there. But I never said anything. I was a quiet child, remember? So don't say anything. But so because of that, I vowed never to be away from my child. So 2011, it never crossed my mind because I needed to be there for her, to do right by her and learn what my father did. But when I was 11, when I was 12 years old, there is one day that I thought, why God? And I think that one day is what changed my whole life. All this is because of that one day.
Yeah.
My mom has 3 sons. I'm the middle child. And because of my personality, I'm a very quiet child and very easygoing and willing. I'm a very supportive person and I do what I have to do. I don't need to get told. Whereas the 2 boys, first and last, are needy. So they demanded a lot of my mom. So to me, I always thought my mom favored them and not me. And this one day I was at my auntie's house and we're sitting, my auntie came from South Africa. My mom is buying trainers for the other 2 boys. This auntie is buying for this one and that. There was about 16 people there. I left the living room, went to the kitchen, did all the dishes. I did all the dishes. No one noticed I was not there. So to the point where I just went to sleep. And I knelt down. And I prayed and I said, God, please take me. Because if you don't take me, I will come and join you very soon. Because this woman doesn't love me. These people, look, for 3 hours, no one noticed I was there. I wasn't there. They were busy doing what they were doing. And I remember as I was kneeled down, I was crying and I'm kneeling down and I'm saying, if you don't take me now, I will find other ways to do this and I'll find it. Because I'm not needed. I kid you not. A bright light came into the room. It was dark. I turned the light off. I was sleeping. A bright light came into the room and all I could hear a voice saying is,
I'm losing you a bit with the network.
Oh, just when I'm getting into it, eh? And this bright light came into the room. The bright light came into the room and it is what I would like to think is an angel. It gave me a hug and my tears dried away instantly. And I felt a warmth of love that I've never felt in my whole life. And all I could hear was, don't worry, you'll be okay. And the next thing I heard was, you need to look after yourself because no one will look after you.
Wow.
And then I slept. I woke up in the morning, different child. My mission started. I need to look after myself. I need to understand myself.
You need to look after yourself because no one will
look after you.
Yeah.
That is exactly what I was told at the time. And I kid you not, my eyes were closed. I opened my eyes and I could see beyond. You know, like how you see like the world doesn't exist. I could just see beyond and beyond, and a bright light coming to me, and then that light surrounded me and it comforted me, and it's like my tears just dried up instantly. That was it. I think that's the one time that I would say I thought about it or even contemplated. And since then, I've just been focusing on looking after myself. That I've never even thought of that, because it now means you are responsible for you and your actions and everything that happens in your life. So do something about it. So that's what we're doing.
Wow. Well, I'm happy to hear that you're still positive, and you're hopefully you're not having any thoughts like that.
I know. It's too late. Too many responsibilities. Too many people rely on me. It's too late.
Yeah.
No, but besides, I realized I wasn't always this positive.
Yeah.
I learned when I was about what? I've done a lot of learning. When I was about 15, I really wanted to fake going to school. So I woke up in the morning and I started telling myself, I'm sick. I'm sick. I'm sick. To the point where an hour later, my mom actually left me at home because I was sick, but I wasn't sick.
Yeah.
Then I started telling myself, dude, you're not sick. But I conditioned my mind so much that I actually believed I was sick.
Yeah.
To the point where my stomach was actually hurting. Then I realized, so if I can tell myself that I'm a happy child, I have no problems, I'm blessed. I'm happy, I have no problems, I'm blessed. Mind you, my problems are a ton like this. But I tell myself my biggest problem in the day is what to eat.
Yeah.
I've said that to myself for the last 15 years, that anything that comes my way is easy to fix now, apart from food. That is my biggest problem. I can't resolve it easy. Anything else I can. It's crazy.
Wow. Daily affirmation is also important, like how you're saying, to continue, telling yourself every single day. Wow,
this is what I do every day. You see this madness?
It's getting you by.
And it's working so far, so good.
That's good. That's good. So let's talk about physical health. Have you ever been physically challenged? It can be anything. Maybe you've gone to the hospital, they've told you something, so something has happened, accident, you name it.
Wow. I've died once. I've died once. It's crazy. What
do you mean?
I had asthma as a child.
Oh,
and
okay.
Mom, even until to date, but I've learned how to manage these things. My mucus glands creates too much mucus. So as a child, I had to be taken to the hospital every month to clear my throats. But there's a time when my mom couldn't take me. I just dropped it home. And for about 20 minutes, I was out.
Wow.
And I came back. And since then, a lot of things sort of happened in life. I didn't realize I was allergic to peanuts. And only until I was 21, I realized my throat closing was not because it's hay fever, it's because of peanuts.
Wow. Okay.
It's insane. I've got an allergy to peanuts I didn't know about until I was 21. I used to eat M&Ms and my throat, I started going, So I used to solve it by drinking something cold to freeze the throat. That's why I had so many cold drinks, because of that. And I thought it used to work. It was something else, not knowing that I was allergic to peanuts.
Oh, wow.
No EpiPen, no antihistamine, nothing. And I used to eat peanuts every other day. So this was a cycle every other day where I used to, and you're thinking, wow, what's going on? Didn't know.
Until you were 21.
21. For 21 years of my life. And you know, as Africans, we make porridge with peanut butter. In Zimbabwe, we eat rice with peanut butter.
Yeah.
We eat greens.
Everything with peanut butter.
So you can imagine that at least 3 times in a week in a home, I was having peanut butter. And those 3 times, I'll be seated there and people will say, are you okay? It's hay fever, it's allergies. And I'm like, And it used to take like 2 hours to clear out of the system. So for 2 hours, I would be wheezing and breathing terribly, to the point where I think the body just got used to it. But other than that, I've generally been blessed with good health. I think God thought he's got enough problems. But we don't need to put health on it. He's got enough mental health problems. Let's allow the physical.
Oh. Oh, okay. Wow. Okay. Well, we're happy to hear that. In terms of physical health, it hasn't been too bad. How did you find out, by the way, you are allergic to peanut butter?
I used to work in McDonald's, opposite was a cinema. So the guys at the cinema, I knew them. So what we agreed is they gave me an unlimited card where I could watch any movie I wanted anytime. And I was supposed to have to be paying 15 pounds a month at the time, but I used to get it for free, right? I don't know what they did with the computer. So every time after work, after doing a long shift, I used to go to the cinema to fall asleep. I had a routine because I freshened up. So I'd go to the cinema and I barely watch the movie. I watch 10 minutes and conk out and then wake up to watch the last 15 minutes and I'm happy. But I used to walk in with M&Ms. There's 1 month where I had no money.
Yeah.
So I walked into cinema again, my routine, but no M&Ms. Then I realized, hey, I used to think the movie theater used to give me these allergies. Then I realized, what's happening here? I haven't had any funny feelings.
Yeah.
So a month later, I get paid. Guess what? I miss my M&Ms, my popcorn, my Coke, all this sugar. I started eating M&Ms and I started feeling it. Then I thought, hang on, what is going on here? Is there M&Ms? So I asked my best friend, one of my best friends, he was still studying at the time, medicine. And I said, what is this? It's like, maybe you've got an allergy. Then I was like, So I went straight home, bought peanut butter at the supermarket, spoon. Then I realized, peanut butter, problem. But then I knew about antihistamines. So he told me, if you're going to try this, take this. So he gave me something prescribed, which was strong. I took it, but it knocked me out. So 7 hours later, I woke up and then I realized, peanut butter, problem. That was it.
Wow. Oh, gosh. Sorry about that. Oh,
it's crazy.
Wow.
My mom didn't even know. I had to tell her, Mom, I'm allergic to peanut butter. She's like, oh, really? Okay. Well, now you know.
Wow. Yeah. Now you know.
It's crazy.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing your story. It's been amazing to hear about your past. It's been amazing to hear how you've gotten through the challenging period in your life, and also amazing that you were able to encourage other men out there. I mean, it's not easy sharing a story. It's not easy opening up. So thank you for that. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for being a part of the campaign for 30 Men 30 Day.
Thank you for having me. This is so fun. I'll look forward to watching this now.
All right, take care.
All right, see you. See you later. Bye.
Bye.